Hey Virgos, welcome and welcome back to the Honey Sea Star Tarot. So this is going to be our weekly read here from October 27th all the way into November on November 2nd here. Can you believe we're already done with October? I'm just saying, welcome to November. But before we get started, I just wanted to say thank you to each and every one of you for all your love and support. For all of the ways that you've supported this channel and helped it grow and built it up to be what it is today and what it will become. Truly, thank you guys. I love you back. So let's get started. So this week is a little interesting. Basically, as we come into this week, the moon, which is in Virgo, is going to be in opposition with Saturn, which is also in Pisces at this point. And Virgo and Pisces basically are the opposites on the zodiac. And they also, because they're opposites, work well together. But this type of energy with the opposition, with Saturn and the moon, can typically make you feel very drained, whether it be melancholic or even lazy or just lacking in energy. And so as we come into this week, it's important to transmute that energy. Really, it's about choosing to bring in, bring in and call in that positive energy through transmutation and expel that energy or basically negate that negative energy so that you can raise your vibration and raise your energy. And great ways to do that are basically, I always like to go towards the simple solutions for complex problems. So how you take care of yourself inside and out, making sure you get good sleep, fresh air, cleansing the environment around you, sound baths and meditation baths, or even salt baths to cleanse the energy within you. Even eating healthy, because we are what we eat, right? That converts to our internal energy and what we process. And so this is an opportunity really to call in what truly you want through the laws of attraction and to transmute that negative energy or those lower vibrational energies to raise yourself up and change that energy into a positive. And so Spirit, as we walk into this week here, thank you. What messages do you have? Thank you. Okay. Messages do you have for us? The cards are talking, I'm just saying. So let's see here. I'm going to come a little closer to the camera. So the boys and I, Charlie Champion and I, have moved. We're in a new spot. I can tell by the sound it's slightly different, so I'm hoping that the recording handles it well. Let me know, and I'll try and troubleshoot as we kind of get used to our new surroundings. But as we're walking into this week here, we've got the King of Wands and the Seven of Pentacles. And then the Empress in reverse came out, as well as the Ace of Cups. So as you're walking into this week energetically, the King of Wands is all about leadership, basically. And it's all about leadership through your communication, standing in that integrity and in honesty. But also, too, you have the ability to inspire others. And so, like I say, transmutation of energy is important during this time so that you can stand in your power and inspire others on how to lift each other up, how to lift yourself up. And so if that resonates, by all means, put a heart in the comments. Let me know that you too are an Emperor and a King of Wands that stands in love leadership. But either way, this is an excellent energy. This allows you to understand the energies around you and also too to stand in your power with transmuting it. And with the Seven of Pentacles, this is all about investing your time, investing your energy, and knowing how and where to invest your time and energy in. Also, too, with the Seven of Cups, this really is about proving, or having the results prove to you how far you've come, that your hard work absolutely is paying off. There's, with the Seven of Pentacles, there's an involvement with this that has a piece of reflection as well as planning, but it's also about progress. And as you can see, he's kind of taking that time to stand back, look at the seeds that he's sown, see the fruits of his labor that are starting to ripen, and really understanding and appreciating the progress, the work along the way, and most importantly, the rewards along the way. But there's a lot of Taurian energy involved with it. It's all really about the foundational work, right? It's all about the foundation and strength of really the rewards along the way, that each step counts towards building that strong foundation. And on the 28th, the moon is going to be moving into Libra. And so this absolutely reinforces a desire for harmony through remaining open-minded, through remaining positive and raising that vibration. But like I say, with the Taurian energy here, it's all about stability. It's all about the foundation that you choose to build and that you choose to carry, as well as walk forward with, and standing in that power. Now, with the Empress in reverse, sometimes this can basically represent the feeling of not seeing results. And that basically that draining energy where you're seeing difficulty in conceptions or difficulty in what you're trying to build, even childbirth even. But basically what you're birthing is kind of how I put it, what you're creating. And out of it tends to lend itself towards feeling not necessarily unbalanced, but feeling out of your comfort zone, basically. Feeling like you're out of nature, feeling a little disconnected from the divine. But with the 3, really numerologically speaking, that's all about growth and progression. It's a dynamic and a balance of development. Development of projects, development of ideas, as well as development in relationships. So you could be also too, in a way, finding that where you hadn't seen results, there's new doors that are being opened. There's new relationships that are being built and being fortified right now. And it's through, it's taking that time to reflect, but it's also taking that time to really understand that it's through that progress. It's through seeing the investments, where you choose to invest, how you choose to invest both time and energy, so that you can basically looking at things in like a financial matter speaking. It's looking at those return on investments to say, is it a wise investment? And that includes in your relationships too. And so with this, you're basically looking, what I'm seeing in this in a lot of ways is that with relationship speaking, you're choosing to invest wiser in the relationships that you have surrounding you, in the relationships that you build. And with the Ace of Wands, like I say, I see a lot of new in this because the Ace of Wands, did I say? Anyway, I meant cups. But this is all about the beginning and new beginnings of prosperity, of abundance, new relationships, as well as new opportunities. And so like I say, through this, you are growing wiser. Through that love leadership, you're looking at relationships that weren't necessarily a good, solid foundation, that didn't have a return on investment, that didn't have that reciprocity, but instead brought conflict, brought difficulty. And you're looking at opening doors. And as I say, Spirit is guiding you here. Where one door closes, a window opens. This is where Spirit wants to remind you that you are being guided through your intuition, through your spirituality, through your positivity in seeing the potential of new builds based on the foundation that you've worked so hard to achieve, that you've grown wiser from. And there's a lot of balance involved in this. What I see in this too, zodiac-wise, is we're looking at Libran energy. We also have that Virgoan energy. Sorry, I don't know why I saw that differently. That's Scorpionic energy. And then also the Sagittarian energy. So, you've got a lot of air, you've got some water, and then you also have the fire involved here too. Now on the 30th, the moon, which is in Libra, is going to be sextile with Venus, which is in Sagittarius. And love is in the air, in connections, in romance, but also too financially speaking, in networking and in business. And so this is the time really truly where there's a lot of positivity, there's a lot of positive connections in general. So it's a time to smile, a time to host, and also a time to share, to meet new connections, to revitalize old connections, but to wake up to the newness, the vitality, and the rejuvenation rather, of situations that possibly needed to be reinstilled or reinvigorated. And that includes within as well. And with the world here, that's all about coming to completion. Like I say, this is a lesson of really understanding where to invest your time and your energy. And this is a whole new chapter. The world is moving in your favor, but it's a time of celebration. It's a time of triumph. And Spirit is also reminding you it's a time of wholeness. And so if you've been feeling lacking in the relationships, not finding the reciprocity that you're truly seeking, this is where you'll be reinvigorated as well, in looking at new relationships that really truly are meant for you and that are right for you, that are like-minded, but also too in balance with you too. And if that resonates, by all means, and you feel comfortable, share your story in the comments below. No pressure, just saying. But help lift others up, help teach others through that love language, through that love leadership of what you're working on, what relationships and new beginnings you're coming into at this time. Now, I do want to also say on the 30th, before Halloween, no pressure, but also to share what costume you're wearing. But the moon is going to be trine with Jupiter. And Jupiter is currently in Gemini during this time. And so this really is an opportunity, astrologically speaking, where the odds are in your favor, not only socially, but also financially. And it's through that fulfillment of positivity. You basically are radiating from the inside out all of the light that you bring into this world through your sincerity, and people are seeing you shine, whether you intend that or not. But your positive vibes, your light within is really shining, and people see you right now. And with the Wheel of Fortune, this is a turning point. Like I say, where old relationships haven't served you, this is where the wheel is turning for the better. This is also a reminder from Spirit. Reminder? I don't know why I stuttered there, but either way. This is all about a reminder that destiny always changes. That's the gift of free will that each and every one of us has. And each cycle is a lesson, right? Each lesson that you learn brings us towards a new cycle as well. And good fortune is in your favor. Like I say, this is a time with this trine between Jupiter and the moon, where truly the odds are in your favor, socially, financially, and it's because of the light that you hold within, and it's because of the light that you share with the world, with your relationships, with your networking, and most importantly, with your loved ones. And with the Knight of Wands here, this is also about coming out of your shell. This is about being an extrovert and letting that light shine, embracing the dynamic disposition that you have with the balance of the world, and meeting it with enthusiasm. It also represents that you're thriving on challenges right now, that you're inspirational, that you're career driven, but again, that people see you. They see your individualism, they see your dynamic creativity, they also see how motivated you are, how driven you are. And what I see in this as well is that there's a Cancer energy here as well as a Leo energy. And so that really inspires a lot of positivity through your emotions, lights that fire. Leo is all about that center stage. And so this is leading with love, but it's leading with emotional intelligence as well. It's leading with compassion. And on the 31st, as we walk into Halloween, happy Halloween, just saying, but this is where the moon is going to be moving into Scorpio season. And so we've got the sun in Scorpio, we've got the moon in Scorpio. And so this adds to a lot of passion, a lot of energy. And it enables you to have the power to make very difficult decisions during this time. And so this is an opportunity, as you can see, where the knight is charging towards the wheel. He's charging towards his fate. He's charging towards the better future and recognizing that action needs to mirror in the law of attraction. It's basically the idea that like attracts light. And like attracts like, I should also say. But it's an opportunity where thoughts really truly become things. And so what you think about, you bring about. But it takes both. It takes the initial intuitiveness and introspection on the internal side to decide, and then also to deliver an action in your manifestations and how you're making your decisions. And at this point, you're taking swift action. You're charging forward. You're no longer being held back. You're no longer looking back either. But you're making those powerful decisions with passion and with emotional intelligence. Now, on the 31st here as well, Mercury, which is in Scorpio, again, we've got scorpionic energy all throughout the atmosphere here. That's going to be trine with Neptune. And Neptune right now is in Pisces, which is also known as the dreamer, right? And so this is a time where you may very well notice that you've got a very keen intuition at this point. This is also where you've got a subtle sense about you, an affection for the arts, and you very much will find that in your creativity, you'll have your imagination seduce you in what you create and in what you dream. And if you're building something, if you get inspired on Halloween or on the 31st, by all means, and you feel comfortable, share your story about what new guidance, what new ventures you're starting, what dreams come to light during this time for you. I'm so curious because, like I say, this is all about new ideas, new creations to add, to grow, to take big decisions or to make big decisions and take decisive action. And then too, I promise I will do a separate video on this as well, just to touch on it briefly. On November 1st, as we walk into November, we have a new moon in Scorpio as well. And so this is all about where the divine feminine is emphasized. Basically, new moons in Scorpio really represent an androgynous balance. And so you're really finding the balance between the divine masculine as well as the divine feminine within each and every one of us. But with that, it's about basically what I love about androgynous, and this is a true story. So my personal goal in life for my ultimate lesson and ambition is to walk through life with androgynous grace. I don't ever look at, typically for Virgos, for me at least, it translates into work. And so, I've always heard the term or grown up with the terms, that's woman's work, that's man's work. I've never looked at it that way. I think that embracing both, it takes both to really do a job well done. It takes the tenderness hand, the patient hand, the nurturing hand of the divine feminine, but it also takes the masculine hand as well. And what I mean by that is there's hard work, there's sweat, there's tears, there's grit, there's moxie, there's ambition, but then also taking that with the softness of the divine feminine and nurturing it with everything that you have, that brings it, and every gentleness that you have, into action with a softness, with a tenderness. And so if that resonates, by all means, share your story, put a comment or a heart in the comments below. Let us know that you absolutely resonate with that as well. Because like I say, new moons are wonderful. It's where it allows us to, again, lead with emotions, lead with compassion, but also to have the balance of understanding that androgynous grace within each and every one of us, that balance of the masculine and the feminine side of each of us. Now, with the Knight of Cups, this is about sparking creativity. And it's also about creativity sparking your motivation. Like I say, this is about that divine feminine meeting that divine masculine, that motivation, that inspiration and drive, as well as the romance, the creativity, to really ignite that ambition within you in what you're building and what you're moving forward towards. And with the Knight of Cups, as you can see, he's got that cup. He knows the value of it. He's holding it tenderly, and he's willing to take action. He's ready. And this is good news. This is also about good news coming in the wing. And with the Page of Wands, again, this is back-to-back 2 cards of arrival of good news. So expect news as we walk into November season for us Virgos. There is something that's going to lead you. And as you can see, he's looking up. He's got the dreamer within him that's got the charisma, the moxie, but it's going to bring explorations of new territories, new ideas, and revitalize excitement because of them. But ultimately, this good news, this new idea that's coming into play here will lead you to freedom. It will lead you to a creative freedom as well. So if anyone has been feeling blocked in that way, this is a point where you will see, rather than blockages, you'll see windows of opportunity come towards you. Now, on the 2nd, as we close out the week, Mercury is also going to be in Sagittarius. And so this is an opportunity when coupled with that new moon that is amazing. So not only do we have that androgynous balance leading with emotions with that scorpionic new moon, but with Mercury in being in Sagittarius, it allows us and gives us the strength of articulation. We can express ourselves faster and more accurately, but it also allows us a strive for freedom, which is just amazing. And like I say, it's incredible that the cards are there as well. So, and again, with this here, we've got an arrival of bad news on material things, a material loss due to a lack of focus, and good news coming in the wing from something new that basically stems from creativity that leads you to freedom. And so what I'm seeing in this is there was something that you had been working on here, especially in October potentially, where basically it was leading towards too much of a focus on material things and a disconnection between the divine and you. With this new Mercury, with Mercury moving into Sagittarius, and also the new moon in Scorpio, this is a time where you're striving for freedom by embracing that creativity, by understanding, the relationships that weren't built on strong foundations, letting those go to make room for new relationships that better serve you, especially when you're focused on philosophy and religion. If you've been focusing too much, I guess what I'm trying to say, if you've been focusing too much on material aspects and relationships, those are now at a point where they're falling to the wayside, and you're connecting on a much deeper level with the ones that do serve you. Again, new opportunities, positive energies, new relationships, and most importantly, creative fertility that leads you to freedom, that leads you to that financial freedom, that leads you to joy, your true life's purpose and ambitions that really truly focus on fulfilling you as opposed to draining you. And like I say, during this time with Mercury and Sagittarius, this is all about focusing on connecting with the divine, connecting with your intuition. And during this week, especially when the moon is in trine with Jupiter, the odds are in your favor. Your relationships are in your favor. Basically, where the moon is sextile with Venus, love truly is in the air. And this is a week where it's time to smile. It's time to share in connections on that kind of a deep level. The connections that truly lead towards freedom, lead towards celebrations, not the ones that basically are focused on only the material, but instead on spiritual levels, spiritual connections. Now, like I say here too, this popped out, and what was interesting was it fell right on top of the old relationship aspects. But basically, with the Eight of Wands here in reverse, this is about delays, slow movement, slow progress, delayed travel, most importantly though, exhaustion. And so, like I say, there was something that was weighing you down with too much of a focus on the material aspects. It was actually weighing you down and taking more than it was giving. It was also causing, and that's time and energy, right? And so it was causing too much of a dedication towards serving something that wasn't serving you. And it led towards lack of focus. But also too, Spirit is with you in this, basically. This was not meant for you. Delayed aspects were only meant to help you or give you time to process that and to release that. And so in a lot of ways, what comes to mind is, rejection is God's protection in a lot of ways, or divine's protection. And so with divine protection, it gives us an opportunity, not as a loss necessarily. It's not to focus on the lack aspect, but it gives us the time to really understand what we want, to look at, are we receiving it, and asking ourselves those questions so that we can come to terms with what we truly want, come to terms with what path it'll take, what work it'll take to get there through androgynous grace, and to release what doesn't serve us so that we can make room and truly practice and embrace the laws of attraction. Now, with the 5 here as well, this really speaks to change. And this is about moving towards calmer waters. This is also another travel card, so some of you may be moving, no pressure, but if you are, let us know. That way we can help support you, because, especially with me and the boys recently moving, I was telling the moving guys that were helping me that, I'm kind of like a perennial. No one likes moving day when you're a perennial. And if that resonates, put a heart in the comments below. Let me know I'm not alone. But it's not that I hate it. It's not that it's horrible. But it's just one of those things where if you're ever doing perennial garden beds, you move everybody, you're breaking plants basically and propagating them in new areas, making room for the babies or for the daughters, and creating new space for them so that they can grow and mature. But you get basically on the first day you move everybody and everybody still looks great. And then you come out the next morning anticipating your garden to look just vibrant and beautiful, and everybody kind of looks a little tuckered. They look a little pitiful and a little angry and maybe a little upset about the whole situation. But they, as I like to put it, plants are drama queens. They're so expressive in letting you know how they feel. But it just kind of is like, oh, it's a rough day for me. That said, though, they're not injured. They're not, hurt by it. They will rebound. They're resilient. They just need a season. They need a season of recovery, and they need time to release that energy and transmute it into that positivity so that they can thrive in their new environment. But like I say, it takes them a minute to get acclimated. Typically a season. But really, this is about a new environment. You're moving into a place of peace. And this is about overcoming hardships through that have caused monetary loss into a place of stability. Now, during this time as well, Mercury is on the 2nd, is also going to be sextile with Pluto. And so Mercury's in Scorpio, Pluto's going to be in Capricorn. And so this is all about making you think or can basically bring on the emotions and the introspection and philosophical introspection about reincarnation, life after death, weeding out the negative and thinking, or weeding out the negative thinking and replacing it with good thoughts. It's about that transmutation, right? And it's transmutation of energy through the laws of attraction. Now, for those that practice law of attraction, put a heart in the comments below. Either that, or I shouldn't say either that, but also too, if that resonates, please like, share, subscribe, help, support this channel, but also too, help get this message out to as many Virgos as we can. That way we can all help teach each other, all help lift each other up and celebrate each other during this time. Because the law of attraction actually has 3 different types of principles. Basically, the simplest way to put it is that thoughts become things, right? Like attracts like. And so in some ways, another way of looking at that is light attracts light and darkness attracts darkness. And so that's where it's important to be aware and be cognizant of what you think about, you bring about in the law of attraction. And so as you can see here with the 7 of Wands, this is about confrontation that may arise, or most importantly, defending yourself, standing your ground, fighting for your goals, what you truly represent. And so, like I say, it's about transmutating that negative energy, weeding out the negative energy, and making room for replacing the good thoughts, standing your ground, and persevering through your resilience with using the law of attraction. Now, like I say, there's 3 principles with the law of attraction. So, like attracts like, what you think about, you bring about. But also, too, there's a piece to it that's really about nature abhors as a vacuum. And so it's the belief kind of into a realm and a walk through physics in the way where, how to put it, I guess when you think about it in the ways of physics and, is basically for every positive, there's a negative. And also, too, even in the way of gravity, like or matter, for instance, there's light matter and there's dark matter scientifically. And so basically it embraces the idea that nature is a vacuum, space is a vacuum, around us is a vacuum. And so when you think about it in the way of energy, clearing out negative energy, clearing out your space, both inside and out, we're able to attract new things by clearing out that clutter, clearing out that negative energy, clearing out the energy of lack, clearing out the material loss aspect, or the unexpected changes, or the lack of focus, the drained feeling where there's too much of a burden that you're trying to take on, and making room truly for what you want to attract. Now, that said, just to be forewarned, needing, it's the idea of contentment as well, and we'll get into that third piece, but basically to recognize the difference between needs and wants are very different things, right? And so when you're looking at something in the way of, I wish I had this, that longing towards wanting something more, in a lot of ways, you're actually reversing calling it in, because you're actually focusing on what you don't have. You're focusing on what you would like to have that's not there, rather than finding that place of contentment. And so as you can see here, this is about, especially with those types of aspects of wants versus needs, this is about deceptions and lies, theft, manipulation, deceit, cheating, but it's also about stealing. And so as you can see here with this material aspect, with this negativity of that feeling of lack, it's really almost like cheating yourself or others cheating you, and being content with that or letting that happen, not standing your ground. And so what Spirit's reminding you here is, don't ever give that power away. This is about standing for your goals, standing your ground, persevering through the negative energy, transmuting through that negative energy, through the deception, through the manipulation, through the deceit or the cheating or the theft, and instead moving towards how to focus your energies, where to focus your energies, where the best return on investment is, basically, with your time and with your energy, in your relationships, in your financial path, in the places and people that you choose and hold in your life. Because again, what you think about, you bring about, and you are who you surround yourself with. And so this is choosing better partners for you, better business partners, better friendships, better tribes to really lift you up. And this is about, with the this is about a change that's coming. And it's also about willpower. It's about persevering again, staying true to yourself, standing your ground, and leading yourself towards that success through your ambition. It's about move and movement, but it's also about travel. So this is basically moving away from that negative energy through your reliance, through your perseverance, and standing firm with the laws of attraction. Now, I did also say here too that we've got 3 aspects of the law of attraction, right? And so the third aspect is really about that the present is always perfect. And no, I do not mean that even things when they don't work out and you're in a horrible situation, you're just supposed to basically go into a place of denial. That is not at all what I mean. What it means instead is if you're in a place where you're feeling stress, you're feeling defeated, you're feeling surrounded by conflicts, say you're in a work environment that you're really not happy with, rather than holding on to it, rather than standing in that area or in that atmosphere, of lack, where you're like, oh my God, I hate this job, but every day yet you wake up and you go to this job that you hate and you leave feeling miserable at the end of the night, and so drained that you don't even have enough energy to reinstill yourself, to reinvigorate yourself, to transmute that negative energy into a positive, and then just accept it as your fate and to, lie down and die. Instead, what it really represents is basically finding the placement of peace to perfect your situation so that contentment can fill the space. Because again, neediness repels lack. Neediness actually repels what you want and leads you to a mentality of lack. It's not about laying down and accepting defeat, but instead, say again, going back to the job that you hate every day. Yes, you go to that job that you hate every day. Okay. However, what are the positives that keep you or can keep you going? Say that coworker that you never would have met without going to this really crumb job. That coworker that really is actually a really good friend, a really good confidant. But also too, going out and continuing to look for another job, to seek another window that's open, to manifest, to utilize the skills and the resources at your disposal to point yourself in the direction that leads to the potential of fulfillment. And so it's like I say, it's about perfecting your situation so that contentment can fill the space. And that's why I always like to, for me at least, that's where it always resonates, where, how do they put it? The present is a gift. That's why they call it that, right? This is about really utilizing those skills at your disposal, leaving behind the vices, instead going towards those new adventures through your manifestation. And if that resonates, if you guys are focusing on the laws of attraction this week, by all means, share your story in the comments below. Put a heart even if you don't feel comfortable. But look at this. I mean, this is gorgeous because it's like this knight is coming after that devil and standing his ground. As you can see, he is ready to fight. And he's no longer afraid to take action. He's no longer afraid or giving his power, to remain chained and giving his power away to the vices that have held him back, to the temptations, the lack mentality, that place of neediness. But instead, he's transmuting that energy. And as you can see, there's growth underneath him. There's a stable foundation to hold him so that he can take charge. Now, if that resonates, like I say, I should say, if you're feeling that place this week and really focusing on the laws of attraction to transmute that energy, but need a little pick-me-up, check out our store. All the designs that I've designed over there are meant to empower, to uplift, but also to inspire you on your day so that you can take charge, take action, and not be held back by what's beating you down or what's making you, hold back. And instead, letting you stand in your power and all the light that you bring to this world and all the lessons and the gifts that you're meant to bring. Because like the present, you truly are a gift. Each and every one of us has a gift to share with this world. And so never underestimate the power that you have within you and the power that you're meant to share with others in this life. And so, like I say, if that resonates, by all means, please like, share, subscribe. Help get this message out to as many Virgos as we can. That way we can help lift each other up, teach each other, and celebrate the laws of attraction together. Celebrate each other together in what we give each other and how we serve each other, especially being Virgos, signs of service. But truly recognizing that everything truly is meant for us. It's trusting that process. And also trusting that we have the power to transmute the negativity, to, again, through the law of attraction, transmute the negativity to welcome the positivity into our lives and to take action towards it. Now, I did want to also do some place oracles this week because there was a lot of movement. There's a lot of travel. There's a lot of new beginnings, basically. And so what we've got here is kind of cool. So again, I see a lot of, there was a place of heartbreak, basically, a place of loss, memories of grief, memories of heartache that currently you're kind of starting the week of melancholy wise, starting the week kind of walking into it. And again, on the 27th, with the moon being opposition with Saturn, this is where you would be feeling drained with that loss, overtaken in a lot of ways with that negative energy, But again, transmutation is all about how we take that negativity and transform it, how we utilize it to learn from it, yes, and then also too to revitalize ourselves, to refill that bucket. And so it's all about hospitality. It's all about coming back to those places of comfort where we really can find our contentment and our place of peace. And so, again, the hotel represents travel. So there could be a retreat even involved. Just saying, no pressure. But if you're going somewhere, let us know that we can help with, we can also live vicariously through you too and through what you learn in your experiences and your adventures. But again, though, this is about understanding that through this path, through understanding of the laws of attraction and transmutation, it's a winding road, right? It's a meandering passage. And that's what life is. It's okay. There can be some really good, there can be some broken pieces of the road or some good detours ahead, some dark, shadowy places. But as you can see, you're coming out of the shadows and into the light. That's about transmuting that energy from the negative and making space through that winding road, clearing the clutter of that negativity to really focus on that, the idea that we're weeding out the negative and replacing it with good thoughts through the transmutation and also the law of attraction, where thoughts really become things. Like attracts like. And so focusing this week on your meditations of the light, looking at that negative aspect, not necessarily trying to solve it, but also understanding when to let it go, what to let go, and most importantly, understanding through a wider lens where your return on investment truly is with your time and your energy, and asking yourself, is it meant for me? Is it time well spent? Is it energy worth spent to invoke change, basically, to come back into the light and shine again for us? Now, I do also want to pull some spirit animal totems here. See what additional guidance we can gain from our ancestors. And I will say too, side tangent, so my new place is amazing. It's out in the country, so the boys and I are back out in the country, though I will say it's their first time in the country. And if I could show you right now, I'd have to turn the camera, but they are absolutely catching up on their sleep. They are enjoying it. It's so cute. They've been expert squirrel watchers as well as bird watchers. And they even caught their first mouse. Mom took care of it, just saying. But either way, they're breaking out they're getting their exercise through embracing their natural instincts, which I just absolutely love as well. So yeah, my city boys are becoming country boys. I'm so proud of them. But either way here, what we pulled is the Black Jaguar. And this is all about the wisdom of the old soul within each and every one of us. And so what Spirit is saying here is to remember to walk through life with confidence and grace. Again, it's about that androgynous grace, embracing the masculine and the feminine. But also too, Spirit wants to remind you that you have the power from beyond this world. Focus on what you really want. You can create your dreams. Don't sell yourself short. And honestly, when for those, just to give you a little spoiler alert, the new moon in Scorpio is really all about dreaming big. Not necessarily, dreaming big in the way where it's, how to put that in a graceful way without doing too much of a spoiler alert, but it's dreaming big even if it's unrealistic, even if it's unconventional, and remembering and striving and persevering and thriving through the idea that in order to learn to build it, you have to dream it first. But if you don't dream it, you'll never learn how to build it. And it's taking that principle and marrying it with the law of attraction to really call in what you're truly wanting to build, to embody, and then also too in the relationships that call you as well. And with the deer, it's all about love. It's about being gentle with yourself. And again, like I say, if you've been feeling beat down or drained by a focus of material lack, a focus of delays, this is about transmuting that energy and remembering to be gentle with yourself. Remembering that you heal with the power of love. See the light in all things. Come out of the shadows and acknowledge your self-worth and your grace for the beauty that it is. And like I say, if that resonates with you, by all means, share your story or put a heart in the comments below. Let us know on this channel, because we truly here are with you and are supporting you during this time, because you truly are representing the deer in this point. An old soul, so you've got wisdom and wisdom through love. This is love leadership right here. And I really, I'm just saying, I could not formulate a better two. Now, before we go here as well, I do want to go ahead and look at our major arcana here, because there are some pretty big changes during Scorpio season here this year for us Virgos, especially when it hits our wheelhouse of communication. So what we pulled, this is actually a really cool, kind of synopsis here, though I know the Empress was in the reverse when we did this, when we pulled the card. But either way, with how this came out now as a synopsis, really truly, it's about fulfillment. It's about coming to completion, reaching success, but it's through the wholeness, the holistic wholeness of contentment, of opening that new chapter, of standing in our Empress power, of nurturing, of embracing that divine feminine and our androgyny, through our masculine and our feminine, to nurture and use the laws of nature to attract what we're calling in. And then also to utilize this opportunity with the world and the Wheel of Fortune to turn the wheel in our favor, to turn it for the better, and to remember that destiny always changes. And that's through free will. And it's through the free will of what we think about, we bring about. And then also too, like I say, replacing that negative, weeding out the negative, focusing on that aspect of transmutation. Reincarnation is another way to look at it. Or life after death. What comes after that lack? What cycle turns as the wheel comes around and moves again towards us in our favor? And weeding out that negative thinking and replacing it with good thoughts, replacing that negative energy with the positivity within each of us that we have the ability to create. And so, like I say, music therapy is an absolute wonderful way to realign our chakras, to balance our chakras, and to reconnect with the divine, because the divine really truly will be guiding us. Your intuition will absolutely be heightened during Scorpio season. But so what we pulled in this, and it's actually really cool. So we've got an A sharp, an F sharp, and an A. And so for those that practice music therapy, try fiddling around with those, do some improv in those chords, because really what it's going to do is, and it's kind of fun because it's sandwiching here in a lot of ways between the A sharp and the A, but it's a wonderful way to realign those chakras, especially the crown and the third eye here as well, and balance it with the heart, with that F sharp. Now also too, a lot of purples could be calling you during this week. Purples tend to really lend themselves towards standing in your power as royalty, basically, as regal royalty, standing in the grace that you bring to this world. And then also the greens may also call you too, especially if you're struggling with balancing of the mind and the heart, or the head and the heart. The green represents really a lot of vitality, a lot of the Empress energy with nurturing, with growth, with birthing, but also too the connection with nature, the connection with Gaia and the divine. And so with color therapy here as well, a lot of purples could, very much soothe you this week, as well as greens will also soothe you with balancing the head and the heart here. If you're being, like I say, if you're being challenged with negative impositions and trying to really transmutate that energy into the positive. And so, like I say, if that resonates, share your story in the comments below. Share your adventure and your lesson this week. But also, too, if you're not feeling comfortable, put a heart in the comments below, or even like, share, subscribe. Help get the other algorithms to recognize this message so that we can share it with as many Virgos as we can, lift each other up, and help each other during the Scorpio season as we walk into November. Now, like I say too, I'm going to stay tuned because I'm going to do a separate video here for this new moon in Scorpio, because it's got a lot of aspects involved with it that can really lend itself towards leading with emotions and standing in our ultimate divine masculine and divine feminine in that harmonious balance that makes up each and every one of us. So stay tuned on that. But either way, if this is where we part, I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you for all your love and support, for all of the ways that you've helped build this channel. Because really, it fills my bucket up just as much to do these messages for you, and more importantly, to hear your feedback, hear what you're going through in your life, and healing that these messages can offer you along your journey. So thank you guys so much. You heal me just as much as I hope these messages heal you. But until we see each other again, take care, love and light, and I'll see you in the next reading.